Good afternoon, everybody, from the Memphis International Airport. We're here in the Delta 737-800. Well, it's the PMDG 737-800, but we're here in the Delta livery. And this video has been a long time coming, but I finally decided, hey, today I'm going to sit down and we're going to go through the PMDG 737 tutorial today. And we're going to go from cold and dark to the approach and landing and the parking in Atlanta Hartsfield. I preface this by saying, I'm not type rated on the Boeing 737. I am a commercial pilot. I recently passed my 135 check ride, so I'll be flying for a 135 operator. However, I have no type ratings, not typed on the 737 at all. This is just how a commercial pilot who enjoys learning about the flight sim in his free time flies the 737. So just be aware of that. So let's just jump inside. Obviously, not a ton going on here. The 737, forgive me, I'm probably gonna be saying that a lot in this. It received a lot of updates lately. From what it sounded like, there were some sound updates, and the tablet, I believe, got some updates too. Not a long flight today. We're going over to Memphis, so we're gonna see the setup for all that. I'm sorry, we're going over to Atlanta from Memphis, so it's a pretty quick flight. Only about 53 minutes once we get off the ground. So we'll take a look at all that good stuff. This is basically going to be this first kind of video. I'm going to have this set up like we did the Airbus, the Phoenix A320. Where this first video is just going to be pretty much the startup to the pushback. First thing you're going to want to do on your overhead panel, you're going to want to come upstairs, and this is where your battery switch is. You're going to want to go ahead and flick that down, and now it is guarded, and the battery comes on, and you obviously see some very basic systems of the airplane come to life. While we're at it, we can arm the emergency exit lights, and then also right here there would be a blue light for your GPU if it was connected. It's not, so let's go ahead and do that. I thought that they added, like, maybe I didn't update it. Maybe it's not updated enough. I don't know. We'll see. So just the captain's FMC works. We'll be doing this from the right side. So, yeah, can we get that ground power request, please? Thank you. Let's see, what are they doing it out there? Okay, there it is. It's connected, it looks like. Connecting. There you go. So now we have the blue light up there, and we'll just go ahead and flick that on, and you'll see in here a lot more things kind of come to life. So now we can kind of start a little bit of a flow. We can come all the way upstairs and get the navs to nav mode. The yaw damper can come on, and the fuel pumps can stay off for now until we go to start the APU. These are up here just to see where your volts are at. So like right now we're on ground power. You just want to make sure that you have volts for that. You can switch it to the APU. Obviously there's nothing going on because our APU's off. So yeah, that's pretty much just that. I don't know exactly how all that works. Again, that's more of a real life thing, not exactly a flight sim thing. So whenever I get typed on the 7.3, I'll come back and we'll talk about that. This is your APU section here, so we don't need to do anything with that just yet. Some lights, we'll get some panel lights up. These are basically like the intake lights on the Airbus. Those can stay in norm. Emergency exit lights we just armed, and we'll just auto that, and we'll keep the seatbelt signs off for now until we know whether or not we're going to get fuel, actually, so we'll keep that there. Lights and engine start's going to stay where they are. Window heats can come on. Probe heats are going to stay on until after takeoff. The wing anti-ice is good where they are. Hydraulic pumps can stay off till after APU start, and then the bleed page looks good where it's at. And while we're up here, we'll set the cruising altitude to flight level 350. This is for the pressurization system. And then the airport elevation in Atlanta is 1026, so we'll round it to 1050 is good. And we'll leave it in auto, and the lights can stay where they are. So that's pretty much that. So now we obviously, like I said, we have a bunch more things on. Get rid of that master caution. Get rid of that bad boy right there. To the main panel lights, we would just turn these up. Okay, there you go. The captain has those, kind of. So we'll turn those on, and then the panel lights down here as well. We'll get the FMC and all that stuff. And we'll just get it all lit up. It's a little cloudy here in Memphis today, so it's a little darker, kind of where we're at. So we'll just go ahead and rock. Okay, so it says enter IRS position. So we're going to go ahead into our FMC. Nav data out of date. That's okay for our purposes today. We're offline and everything, so no issues. We are at Memphis International, so we'll go ahead and put that in there, and that should come up with a position for us. And we'll go ahead and set that, and you can see we get our navigation display and multifunction display up as well. We'll go ahead and request a flight plan, and it should come up with Memphis to Atlanta will be Delta 1624. Just kidding. Let's see, maybe if I take that away. There you go, PMDG, and then... Okay, so there we go. So you know you have to load it in here before you can actually get it done. So we'll request that. Level 350, cost index 13, we'll probably bump that up a little bit later. We'll just set it all right now. Set the payload, set the fuel, and set the route. And then once you set the route, you have to wait for it to kind of do its thing here. You can clear all those messages away and wait for it to be ready for you here. There we go, hit load, and it'll populate the route. And we're gonna activate it and execute that. And we're gonna go to the departure arrival page. Out of Memphis, it wants us to use 36 center. Do we want to use 36 center though, is the question. Yes, we do. We use 36 center. I think we took 36 right whenever I did this flight in real life, but we'll take 36 center for today's purposes. And we're going to be on the BB King 7 with the Kermie transition, and I'm getting that from my sim brief on my other monitor, but you can get that from right here. It's exactly the same thing that I'm looking at. 36 center, sim brief says BB King 7, and then the Kermie transition, and we have all that selected, so we'll go ahead and hit that. And then we'll wait to do the arrival until we get rolling. So we'll just look at the legs page now and just kind of verify that everything does look the way that it should. So we'll go to plan mode, and let's turn data on as well so we get the restrictions and whatnot that we don't actually have yet. But that's fine. Probably because we don't have any weights plugged in, I don't think. But the BB King 7, no real restrictions. 360 intercept 032 to Jax. And then outbound to Kermie, and then towards Hotlanta. So we'll just go ahead and we'll pull this up. We'll pull up the page on here so you guys can see that as well. Departure out of Memphis, Sid, on the BB King 7, and the airport will pull up the 10-9 as well. Let's go pinned, Sid, BB King 7, and that's what we're looking at. So 36 center will climb a heading of 360 and climb maintain 5,000. So 360, the shift, I think shift makes it go a little bit quicker, by the way. So 360 is north, or 000, and then 5,000 on the altitude. We don't have any other numbers set up just yet. At this point, you can probably go over here and do the performance tool. You can go 36 center out of here, import from aircraft, import weather, 3012 on the altimeter. I'm just going to hit B, which is the sets your local altimeter setting, and we'll calculate and get some numbers there. And we're not going to look at those just yet, just until we see kind of what we have. We'll request the numbers from SimBrief. Everything takes a minute, but it works. And since we have our 12.9 on board, by the way, and we can confirm that in our SimBrief flight plan real quick, go back here. We'll go down to the fuel page of 12.9, and that is also in there. We'll just go ahead and flick the APU on. Now, I don't know, I think it uses the left forward or aft fuel pump, but you don't have to turn anything on. It uses it itself. So what you do, start the APU in the 737, is you come down here, you flick it to on, and then you just let it go. You'll wait for the low oil pressure light. I'm sorry, right there. And then flick it down to start, and then the EGT will start moving, and you can start to hear it spool up out here. EGT is going to start coming up, low oil pressure again. There goes the EGT spike. And then you're going to get a generator whenever it reaches enough power, which you can probably see up here. It has nothing right now. And we'll just flick the generators on, both 1 and 2, and the APU bleed can come on as well, and you'll start to get some duct pressure up there, and the passengers will start getting some AC if you flick all that on. And there's the APU, and then you can just flick off on the ground power unit. And we have our parking brakes set, so we're going to release ground power, and I think it usually releases chocks when it does that, so just make sure you have your your park and brake set whenever you do that. It doesn't spawn set default. Anyways, let's go back to loading these numbers. Go ahead and execute that. Cost index 13, cruising at, we'll leave it for now, and we'll change it once we kind of get rolling. So now so these numbers are just standard. This is where this comes in. So flaps 5, cell temp 47. So you're essentially telling the engines, you're bringing the power back on the engines. You saw it was 100 before, now it's 94 because it says, okay, it's hotter outside, so we're going to use less power, I think is kind of how that works. Again, not 100% sure. And then takeoff 1 it wants us to use, so we'll just go down here and select that. And we have 90.6 on the N1 and 90, I'm sorry, what did I say? Yeah, 90.6, and that is pretty freaking close to 90.6. I'll go ahead and take that for sure. We'll leave it in climb 1 as well. No reason to really derate it any lower than that. Flaps 5, CG, just click in here and it comes up, and then you get that 136, 137, 142 on the V2 speeds. That checks in there. And then on the trim, you just want to, well, I don't think, I guess you can do it. 4.8, right? It's 4.88, so you just want to go all the way to almost to 5 right in there. So then, again, going overhead, since we got everything ready, we'll go ahead and flick the seatbelt signs on, and the hydraulics can come on. Yaw damper come back on. I don't know why that got flicked off. And with all that being done, now we just got to set the V2 speed 142 in here, and set our flight directors on, right side, left side, and auto throttle. Arm that. We'll go 30 degrees of bank, and just like that, we're pretty much ready for pushback. Again, we didn't really mess with GSX or anything like that. I would leave this page up over here, and we'll probably go ahead and remove the chocks. We'll go GSX for the push. We'll go legs over here, numbers over here. And so let's get GSX going for the pushback. Other than that, that's pretty much going to be it for the initial FMC setup portion of the video. And we will get back to you guys. We'll get back to you guys with the pushback and the startup.